morning. Good morning and welcome to our yoga practice. We are coming onto the mat, preparing for our practice, having anything nearby that we think we may need, strap, a block, water, a goofy dog. And we're preparing for our practice. We are going to begin standing today. If you wanted to head that way, we've got probably 2 minutes before class starts. So a nice amount of time to roll out your mat and get settled in. As you come onto the mat, if you'd like to use this time to do some gentle movement, you could, or if you'd like to sit and begin to center the mind in the breath, that's also nice. About another minute. Just making our space, preparing for our practice. Use the time as you see fit. And as we get closer to class, we're going to head to that standing posture somewhere near the back third of the mat. Set the feet maybe hip width distance or even a little wider, giving yourself a nice solid base to start. Loosen the ankles and the legs. Start to draw awareness up. Stand tall. You could soften the gaze or close the eyes here to build more awareness of the body. Maybe a little tuck of the chin as the crown of the head reaches tall. Arms are loose at our side. Palms are forward. Keep a little softness in the knees. Focus the attention on the breath. Take nice full inhales and exhales. Allow the body to gently rise and fall. The ribs expanding and contracting with the breath. See if you can balance out the inhale and the exhale. Sometimes I like to give myself a little, maybe 3 count in my mind to help do this, to build a nice full balanced breath. The eyes are closed. Go ahead and flutter them open. Keep that balanced breath. As we inhale the arms, scoop them wide out to the sides as you reach them overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Nice big inhale. We scoop the air around us. Reach tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Notice how the shoulders are feeling as you inhale the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. Big inhale as we reach. We'll stop with the hands overhead. You could interlace the palms here. Maybe the pointer fingers reach to the sky. You could shine the hands toward one another. We'll gently move side to side, kind of like a metronome. Start to press the hips out as you go, deepening that stretch through each side. You can feel the weight gently shift between the feet. Slow it down as you find center. The hands are interlaced, release them, and bring palms to heart center. Nice big inhale as we reach. On the exhale this time, we'll drop all the way down to the mat, coming into a forward fold. Hands can reach to the earth. You could hold elbows in a ragdoll. You could have the hands on the thighs for a little external support or hold on to the shins. Lots of options, keeping a little bend at the knees here. Shake the head a little yes and no. Find stillness. Soften the knees as you gently roll up, back to standing. We'll take a breath at the top. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Take a breath. Soften the knees. Gently roll up, back to standing. We'll take right hand to right hip. Inhale up the left. Exhale as you take it over. The weight shifts to the left foot as you press out through the left hip. You'd like, you can point the right toes. We'll come back to center. Bring the left hand to left hip. Inhale up the right. Exhale as you take it over. Shift the weight to that right foot. Press through right hip. A little softness in that right arm as it reaches over. A little softness in the shoulder. And again, on this side, if you'd like to point the left toes, you can. Inhale up. Exhale, right hand down. We'll release both hands. Give the shoulders a little wiggle. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to forward fold. Strong core as we inhale up to half lift. Nice flat back. Hands to shins or thighs. The gaze is at the mat. Exhale as you release. We'll take a generous bend at the knees as we lower the hips, belly to thighs. Leave the legs where they are as you lift the torso. Hands reaching in front of us, holding that giant beach ball, activating the thighs here. Then drop hands to earth as we lift the hips back to forward fold. Gently roll up, back to standing. We'll bring the hands around to the low back. You can do fist to low back. You can go flat palm either direction, depending what works for your body. Start to draw the elbows back toward one another, shoulder blades as well. You can stay right here, so great chest opener. Nice stretch for the shoulders. If you'd like to deepen it slightly, we'll lengthen the spine and start to arch back. You can come in and out of this standing back bend as much as you need. You won't be here long. Inhale up, release the arms, Wiggle those shoulders to loosen it up. Back to our standing posture. We inhale the arms. Exhale to forward fold. Take a breath. Inhale, half lift. Draw the navel in toward the spine. Exhale as you release. We'll plant the hands, start walking them away from the feet as we stretch out into a high plank. You can lower to the knees here as you need. Fingers are spread wide. Elbows are tight to the body as we lower down through chaturanga to the belly. Uncurl the toes. Hands are under shoulders, elbows tucked into the body. We'll inhale up, baby cobra. Chin and collarbone lift. Long spine. Keep the feet and the hips pressed into the mat. Exhale as you release. Chin to mat. We'll put a little more weight into the hands as we inhale up, chin, collarbone, maybe a rib or two, deepening that cobra shape. Exhale as you release. Take a breath. And this time as we inhale, we'll bring the elbow under the shoulders. Sphinx pose. Forearms are parallel. Palms are in the mat. Spread the fingers wide. We're pressing into the elbows to help us lengthen the spine. We don't want to collapse into the shoulders. We want that nice lift. Gaze is forward. We'll press into the palms as we take the elbows wide. Favorite cheek goes into the mat as we lower down. Take a breath. And then swap sides. Opposite cheek meets the mat. Little stretch for the neck here. We'll return chin to mat as we bring hands under shoulders. Press up and back, hips to heels, child's pose. Keep the arms stretched out in front, nice and length through the body. One more breath here. We'll inhale up. Find an extended tabletop. Fingers are spread wide. We're gripping the mat. We curl the toes. Lift the knees as you shift the hips back and come into down dog, our upside down V shape, our first of the class. So feel free to explore with a little movement if you like. That could be pedaling out the feet by bending one knee and then the other, heels dropping toward the earth, though they don't have to touch it. You could shift the hips a little bit, really whatever movement helps you explore the shape, or holding in stillness, always an option. We're all going to head there now, settling into the shape, trying to find that flat back. If your hamstrings are feeling tight, that generous bend at the knees might help. Start to walk the hands toward the feet and find yourself at forward fold toward the back of the mat. We'll gently roll up back to our standing posture. We'll leave left foot back. Take a step forward with the right foot, about 2 to 3 feet. Feet are on skis. Hips are square to the short edge of the mat as we stand tall. Hands can be at hips, heart center, airplane arms. As we keep a long spine, hinge forward, and find our triangle. That might be a 10 or 45. You might end up at a 90. You might drop down, folding over, hands to mat. If you have blocks, that can be a great transition here as you work on different variations of the shape. Should feel a nice stretch through the back of the right leg. Wherever you're at, take a generous bend in that right knee, press up, and return to standing. We'll leave right foot where it is as we take left foot forward. Again, about 2 to 3 feet distance, depends on your leg length. Feet are on skis. We're standing tall, finding what arm variation is going to serve us today on this side. And then really hinge at the hips, lead with the heart as you fold forward. Again, pause wherever your body needs. Keep breathing. Both feet are firmly rooted on the mat. Take a generous bend with that left knee. Gently press up. We'll bring the right foot forward. Finding our Tadasana toward the front of the mat, that solid mountain pose as we stand tall. Inhale the arms up. Exhale as you forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale as you release. Plant the hands. We'll step one foot back and then the other, finding our high plank. You can lower to the knees here if you like, with elbows tight to the body. We'll move down through Chaturanga to the belly. Uncurl the toes. Inhale up to your cobra. Hi, sweet girl. Exhale as you release. Curl the toes. Press up to extended tabletop. And then lift the knees, shift the hips, and find your way to down dog, making any little adjustments that you need to as you move. From here, root into the left toes as you draw the right foot up, three-legged dog. With control, bring that right foot forward, planting it on the mat near the hands. Runner's lunge. Try to stack that knee over the ankle or a little behind it. Gaze is at the mat. We'll drop the back foot to 45. Gently lift up. Again, you may have to adjust your stance. As we square the hips to the short edge of the mat, we've got that nice bend at the front knee. Back foot is rooted in. Heart is open as we inhale the arms up. Finding warrior one, palms shine toward one another. Fingers reach to the sky. The shoulders settle away from the ears. On an exhale, release the hands. Rotate onto the ball of the back foot. We'll bring hands to mat. Step the right toes back, high plank. Shift the hips back, down dog. Take a breath. Root into the right toes as you draw the left foot up. With control, bring it forward. Try not to scrape the foot on the mat. It might happen, that's all right. Just working toward it. Taking a moment here in our runner's lunge. Lengthen the spine. Let the hips sit low. We'll drop that back foot to 45 as we find our foundation and lift up. Arms start at our side, and then we inhale them up, finding warrior one on the opposite side. Scan from the soles of the feet to the tops of the fingers, checking in with the body as you continue to breathe. On an exhale, release the hands. We'll straighten the front leg. Start to turn that back foot to maybe a 90. Turn the front foot to 90. And then we'll just simply adjust so that the feet are in line with one another. Toes are forward. We've got a nice wide stance. Hands to hips. Lead with the heart as you forward fold in our wide angle stance. Keep a flat back as long as you can. Letting the hands reach toward the mat as you complete the fold. The crown of the head is touching the mat. Heel toe those feet in slightly. We want to keep a little space. Hands can rest under the head. They could reach back between the legs to gently draw the body in a bit more. Could hold ankles or big toes. There's many variations. And as you hang out here, notice where the weight is sitting in the feet. If you're all the way back on the heels, shift the hips forward slightly so that more of the weight is sitting toward the front half of each foot. The heel is still connected. We'll start to engage the core as we come up to half lift. And then draw ourselves all the way up to standing. Take a breath. We'll turn the heels in toward the body, toes out to the corners of the mat. We inhale the arms out to a big starfish. Reaching out, take up all the space. We'll start to turn the wrists. So we're just spinning the hands, creating a little movement in the wrists. And let the hands start to slowly float down like little leaves. When the arms hit about even to shoulder height, reverse the direction that you're spinning the hands and let that gentle fall continue. Arms ultimately coming to rest at our side. We'll bring hands to thighs as we lower the hips, coming into our goddess or sumo pose. Really deep stretch for the inner thighs. You could invite in a little twist, dropping the shoulders in toward the center. Totally optional. We'll press into the heels as we rise up and heel toe the feet together, gently coming out of that shape. And we'll prepare for our balance pose today. We're doing a standing head to knee, but we're just going to take some variations. So the full posture is in your practice. Feel free to head that way. And then we'll get there together. So pick which leg you'd like to be your supporting leg. I'm going to begin with my left. I'm going to get that foot fully rooted down into the ground. And shift around a bit just to build that awareness. Toes are in the mat. We're building energy and strength up. Hip is engaged as we bring the opposite foot in, coming to the ball of that foot. Stand tall, head over heart. And then start to lift the flying leg. You can have it here at 90. You can tap down that toe anytime you need. You could reach around and hold that knee, drawing it in a little closer. This can be a nice stepping point. could hold behind that thigh. Keeping a focus on a non-moving point in front of you, your drishti. If it's within your practice, you could reach down to grab the ball of that foot. You could begin to extend that leg, maybe dropping the head down toward it. I am not in for the full expression of the posture today. Maybe if I brought my strap with me, that can be a great way to work on this, wrapping the strap around there, then extending the leg and holding on to it that way. And again, you can come in and out of the shape as you need, playing with the variations, that movement through the stages, maybe finding the full expression of the posture today. It doesn't seem like it's in the cards for me on this side today. We'll take 2 more breaths here. When you're ready, gently release. Let the right foot return to the mat or whichever foot you're flying, and we'll shake out that supporting leg. You can give the hips a little wiggle. You can loosen that ankle. And then we'll prepare for the opposite side. Start with your foundation. Build that strong, solid base. It's the support for the whole shape. Activate the hip. We don't want it pressing out to the side. We want a nice long line through the body. Stand tall as you bring the ball of the opposite foot in. And start to fly. Maybe that leg is at 90. You could play with pointing and flexing the foot here a little bit. Sometimes as we hold our balance shapes, changing up a little bit with a small bit of movement, or even closing one eye and then the other, and really challenge your balance in ways that surprise you. It's going to be fun to do that, even if you're deep into your practice and really, solid in it. Those subtle shifts can be a great way to continue exploring. Maybe reach out and grab around that knee, drawing it in. If you do, notice if you start to round down. We want to keep the spine long. Good hold behind thigh. You want to reach down to grab the ball of that foot. Could extend the leg out. A little better on this side, but probably also need a strap here. I don't want to fuss up the rest of the shape. I'm going to return to one of the prior stages, but again, explore, be mindful of your body, and know that you can always tap the toe down. You can always re-enter the pose, just starting fresh. Strong in your supporting leg. Stand tall, unless you fold it over. Then you're probably standing a little less tall. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And then gently release the flying leg. Shake out that standing leg, working to build up support through all of those little muscles, our tendons. Our balance is really important. We'll meet toward the front of the mat in our Tadasana. Nice big inhale as we reach. Exhale to forward fold. Let's take a breath here. Inhale up to half lift. Strong core. Exhale as you release. Plant the hands, step one foot back and then the other. High plank, lower down. With control as you bring the belly to the mat. Uncurl the toes and inhale up to your cobra. On an exhale, gently release. Curl the toes, press the hips up and back, however you want to transition there as we meet in down dog. From here, we'll lower the knees, uncurl the toes, hips to heels, child's pose. Soften the arms. Maybe there's a generous bend at the elbow. Start to walk the hands in toward the knees as you lift up. Rotate around to a favorite hip and find a comfortable seated posture, whatever that looks like for you this morning. We settle in. Gently close the eyes. Hands can rest on the knees and the lap at the side. Allow the breath to gently return to its natural rhythm. And again, maybe you soften the gaze or close the eyes here. Allow the attention to turn in. Check in with the body and the breath and the mind. And notice the energy that you've cultivated, the strength that you've built, the space you've created. Maybe to check in and see what has shifted during your practice. No judgment, just awareness. Quiet moment. Stay centered. Bring hands together at heart center to seal in our practice as we flutter the eyes open. I encourage you to take kind thoughts, kind words, and kind intentions with you from now until we meet again. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for our yoga practice today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. And I look forward to seeing you back on the mat next Tuesday morning. Bye, y'all.